Welcome to the Cosmic Busker. My name is Bobby Cody. In this video I want to take a look at an article I found that bounced off yesterday's article. Yesterday's video. The article that I found is about the great dark spot on Neptune. And the video that it bounces off of, or actually a couple of videos. The one video is yesterday's video. It was called Ancient Mars Civilization, a Timeline of Discovery Part 2. It also bounces off another video that I've done in the recent past, but I'll talk about that after we're all done going through this article and a couple of other articles. And we'll end up and you'll see how everything ties together. So first let's take a look at this Great Dark Spot article. It involves a Hubble telescope and some things that I've found about the Great Dark Spot. This article is from bger.com. There's also other articles on space.com about it. I'll post a link to both articles down below so you can get a good sense of what's going on. But we're going to take a look at the bger.com article right now. Let's cut to that. Okay, this is the bger.com article, and the headline reads, Hubble discovers a mysterious dark spot on Neptune, and it's getting bigger. The article was written by Mike Wenner. It's dated March 27th, 2019, and it was published at 8:08 p.m. The article begins, the mighty Jupiter gets a lot of attention for its constantly shifting face, but it's not the only planet in our solar system with some serious personality. Neptune, the large frozen ball of methane and various other frigid gases sitting way out in the outer reaches of our solar system, is surprisingly active. And the Hubble Space Telescope just caught it doing something nobody had ever seen before. Astronomers have known for a long time that Neptune's surface occasionally becomes dotted with dark spots. These large discolorations in its atmosphere can be linked to high-pressure areas, and they come and go over the course of several years. But nobody had ever seen one forming until now. In a new study published in Geophysical Research Letters, scientists explain how they spotted one of Neptune's great dark spots growing. The team originally focused on cloud patterns that began to take shape years ahead of the dark spot's formation, ultimately hinting that the dark spots originate deep within the planet's atmosphere rather than on the surface where we eventually observe them. Okay, right there is the important point that I wanted to touch upon. It says that the great dark spots, they originate deep within the atmosphere rather than on the surface of the atmosphere. They didn't mean the surface of Neptune, they meant the surface of the atmosphere. They only said surface, but they meant the surface of the atmosphere, which is where we observe them. We observe them on the surface of the atmosphere. Now this touches on near the end of my Ancient Mars Civilization, a Timeline of Discovery Part 2 video. In that I spoke about how all the planets, or most of the planets that we are familiar with, have their largest energy outwelling or upwelling at 19.5 degrees. It's important when I say upwelling, and I gave an example of Hawaii, Olympus Mons, Jupiter, Great Red Spot. They're all at 19.5 degrees, as was the original Great Dark Spot on Neptune that we saw. Now, here we have been talking about it doesn't originate on the surface, but it comes from deeper in the atmosphere. And this confirms that theory, because what we talked about was that a sphere is essentially a sphere rotating higher dimensions causes a vorticular roiling motion. This vorticular roiling motion causes an energy movement that comes up from within the sphere, and that's exactly what they're talking about. This great dark spot originates deep in the atmosphere, just as we're suggesting, and just as Richard Hoagland's hypothesis suggests. So what I'd like to take a look at now is just a quick point about the great dark spots. This great dark spot that was initially observed back in the 90s, then was later found to disappear, and now we see it appearing again, and several other spots appearing as well. They don't talk about the location or the latitude of these dark spots, but I'm certain that, and I wasn't able to find specifics about that. If I am able to find them, I'll update this. But these dark spots, I can almost assure you, all originate on or around 19.5 degrees. Let's cut to a quick article on, I think it was cosmos.com. I'll provide a link to it. It talks a little bit about the great dark spots and its history. It's the great dark spot of Neptune. Let's cut to that real quick and read from it. The title of this particular webpage is What is the Great Dark Spot? It comes from coolcosmos.ipac.caltech.edu. The webpage begins, the Great Dark Spot was a huge spinning storm in the southern atmosphere of Neptune, which was about the size of the entire Earth. Winds in this storm were measured at speeds of up to 1,500 miles per hour. These are the strongest winds ever recorded on any planet in the solar system. The Great Dark Spot was first discovered when the Voyager 2 spacecraft flew by Neptune in 1989. When the Hubble Space Telescope looked at Neptune in 1994, the Great Dark Spot was gone and a different dark spot had appeared in the northern atmosphere. Now, I find this intriguing because, the Great Dark Spot, it had been presumed that it would stay there, similar to the Great Red Spot of Jupiter. The Great Red Spot of Jupiter had been there for hundreds of years, or at least 100 years. My understanding is that it's actually hundreds, not 100, but hundreds of years. As far back as we've been able to see Jupiter, that Great Red Spot had been there. So then once we sent spacecrafts up to Neptune and we saw it had a great dark spot, it had presumed it was similar to Jupiter and that it would be there for long periods of time. Wasn't the case. We found it in 1989. We got the Hubble Space Telescope in 1994, looked at it again, it's gone. But there's a new one in the northern hemisphere. Now, okay, maybe Neptune is different than Jupiter and their great spot somehow changes, unlike Jupiter. But let's take a look at what's been going on Jupiter as well with the Great Dark Spot, because something is happening with the Great Red Spot on Jupiter as well. Let's cut to an article about that real quick. This article is from Cosmos Magazine. This is dated March 25th, 2019, and the headline reads, Jupiter's Great Red Spot is Shrinking. Subheadline reads, a massive storm that has lasted for hundreds of years is slowly changing in shape, size, and color. Astronomer Donna Pierce from Mississippi State University explains. The Great Red Spot, a storm larger than the Earth and powerful enough to tear apart smaller storms that get drawn into it, is one of the most recognizable features in Jupiter's atmosphere and the entire solar system. The counterclockwise moving storm, an anticyclone, boasts wind speeds as high as 300 miles per hour. This prominent feature, observed since 1830 and possibly as far back as the 1660s, has long been a source of great fascination and scientific study. What else do we know about the Great Red Spot that is changing dramatically? Its size, shape, and color. An analysis of historical and recently obtained data on the Great Red Spot has shown that it is shrinking and becoming both rounder and taller. And its color has also varied over time. What is driving these changes and what does it mean for the future of the Great Red Spot? Researchers aren't sure. However, NASA's Juno spacecraft, currently orbiting Jupiter, is gathering more data on the cloud bands and the Great Red Spot. These new data will likely provide insights into many of the features in Jupiter's atmosphere. Once again, this article is by Donna Pierce, Associate Professor of Physics and Astronomy at Mississippi State University. Okay, so we have a surprise change in climate on Neptune based on the Great Dark Spot disappearing, showing up somewhere else, going originally from the southern hemisphere and all the way to the northern hemisphere. We had the Great Red Spot on Jupiter, which has existed for hundreds of years, is suddenly shrinking and changing. That has never been seen before. So this is pretty interesting. We have two planets now where there is significant climate change. Is this happening anywhere else? Let's take a look at two articles. I'm just going to go through these really quick. One is just a quick Wikipedia reference, and then from that one I'm just going to slide over to another article, which is an MIT or Massachusetts Institute of Technology article. These are both a little bit old, but they're still valid, so let's take a look at them real quick. Okay, this is a quick Wikipedia reference. You can see the sources. You can take a look at the sources if you'd like to. I provide the link down below. It reads, elsewhere on the planet, low-latitude areas have more water ice than they should have given current climatic conditions. Mars Odyssey is giving us indications of recent global climate change in Mars, said Jeffrey Plout, project scientist for the mission at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, in non-peer-reviewed published work in 2003. And here we have a different article. This comes from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, dated October 9, 2002. As you can see, the headline reads, Pluto is undergoing global warming, researchers find. Pluto is undergoing global warming as evidenced by a threefold increase in the planet's atmospheric pressure during the past 14 years. A team of astronomers from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Williams College, the University of Hawaii, Lowell Observatory, Cornell University announced in a press conference today that at the annual meeting of the American Astronomical Society's Division for Planetary Sciences in Birmingham. So here we have evidence that climate is changing on Neptune, it's changing on Jupiter, Mars is going through global warming, Pluto is going through global warming. To our knowledge, there's no humans on any of those planets. Nothing that we could do could possibly change the climate on those planets. Global climate change on those planets is perfectly natural, and it's happening more than likely due to something going on in our solar system, almost certainly has something to do with the output of our sun. But again, we have Mars, Pluto, Jupiter, the Neptune. Anthropogenic climate change or man-made climate change is a hoax. I've already done a video on that. I'm going to post a link up there in the corner so you can look at that video that I've done in the past on that. The evidence is overwhelming. Any good climate researcher will tell you that. What you get for the most part are people who are paid millions of dollars on TV in order to lie to you, in order to keep their funds coming. And a small amount of climate researchers who will kind of fudge their data and hedge their bets. Well, maybe yes, maybe no, because they're getting, there's billions and billions of dollars coming into climate research, and they can't stake a heart in that. But the good ones will say, well, it's, we don't know yet, because, in their very narrow view of everything, they haven't proved that it's not being caused by humankind. However, if you look outside of their specialty at other fields of study and put all the evidence together, there's little to no doubt that there is no humankind caused climate change. There's no anthropogenic climate change. Links down below. I've also provided some links up there or up there wherever they appear. Thanks for watching. Any comments, pro or con, I'd love to hear them. That's all for now. Thanks and have a great day.